What is that sound?
It's the neighbors. When Julianne came down the stairs...
For breakfast. There's nothing in there. There's nothing in there. There's nothing in the jar. Read this. Read this.
Okay, I'm reading. We'll read in the dark.
Okay.
When Julianne came down the stairs for breakfast, there was a big cookie jar on the kitchen table. She turned it upside down, but nothing came out. When she hit the bottom of the jar, whap, 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 and still nothing came up. So finally, she held the jar over her head and looked in it. A small dark lump fell out, bounced on her nose, and rolled across the table. Julianne said, "What's that?" Her mother said, "What's that?" The small dark ate Julianne's shadow and got a little bigger. The small dark ate her mother's shadow and got a little bigger. The small dark ate the toaster shadow and got even bigger. I think it's dark, said Julianne.
A toaster shadow.
Yeah, right there.
By
this time,
why is eating the toaster shadow?
Because he's hungry. I think it's a dark, said Julianne. By this time, the dark was big as the toaster. Julianne's father came in and said, "Hey, what's that?" Julianne said, "It's a dark. It eats shadows." Julianne's father picked up the dark and threw it out the window. The dark landed and bounced, boing, 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 down the street. Going past the mailman, it looks like. The dark saw lots of shadows and it ate them up. The dark saw lots of telephone pole shadows and it ate them up. The dark saw lots of house shadows and it ate them up. The dark eventually saw some butterfly shadows and it ate them up. The dark was now big as a hill. It came back to Julianne's house and sat on the roof and went to sleep. The whole yard was so dark that Julianne could not go out and play. Julianne's mother and father said, "What's this?" They ran out to chase away the dark. But it was so dark outside that they got lost. They could not even find the door back to come back in. Julianne was very upset. Then she saw the dark had not eaten her chair shadow, so she broke a piece off of it and held it out the window.
Yeah.
She yelled, "Food!" The dark came right back down the side of the house and jumped in on the shadow. Julianne broke up the rest of the shadow into little pieces and put them into the cookie jar. Right away, the dark flew through the window, jumped into the jar to eat the shadow. As soon as the dark was inside, Julianne put the top in the jar. She taped it with tape. She glued it with glue. And she plastered it with plaster. Then she roped it with rope. Then all her friends helped her carry it to a garbage can. They dumped it inside. Her mother and father called the garbage truck. The truck came and took the dark away. And it never came back. It took all the shadows a whole week to grow again. That was a fun story.
Yeah, kind of funny.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.